Hi, welcome back. This is the fourth video in our series this month. We're talking about function-based intervention. And so in this video, we're going to talk about how sometimes the behavior might get worse before it gets better. And how do you plan for that, or how do you program for that? So the child, your child or the student in your class has been engaging in this behavior, and it has been quite effective for some time. So depending on what the behavior is and what their history is and how long it's been going on, they may have had more and more experience with every time I do this, this works, and it's very effective for me. And so the longer the behavior has been going on, the harder the behavior is to change. And so that's why you always want to intervene as soon as a behavior starts occurring, or as soon as you start to notice that a challenging behavior is cropping up, because the faster you can intervene, the less likely that behavior is going to be an established behavior. But regardless, the child has learned a very effective way to meet their needs. And so now you're going to flip the script. You're going to say, oh, I understand that worked for you, but it's not going to work anymore, and this is going to work. And so when you flip that script on the child's going to be frustrated at first because they like the old way. None of us like change. When everything's changed, people get kind of funny. And so whether that's at work or at home or your child's routine, your child's school, any change takes an adjustment period. But the more information you can give an individual regarding the change, the less likely you are to experience resistance in that change process. So what are things that you can do that help reduce that resistance that you're going to notice as change is occurring? One of the things that you can do is use visuals. So any type of visual that you can use, whether that's a social story, a lot of people have talked about social stories and the effectiveness of social stories. The real effectiveness in social stories is that it describes what the new expectations are. So a social story describes and teaches the new expectations, but it also describes and teaches the new consequences. So it says, here's what your expectations are. Here's what you should be doing. Here's how you will earn or access those rewards. And if you engage in the wrong behaviors, here's what will happen. So a social story is really just explaining to the child what the new system is. So you can use a social story. You can use visuals, so like those visual schedules, but you can also use visuals as far as your visual token economy, your visual level system, your visual timers. Those are all helpful. Also, having key phrases that you use is really helpful. So in behavior intervention, you want to make sure that you use the same phrasing every time. So if you're using first, then phrases, you always want to say first this, then this. First, homework, then video games. First, brush teeth, then tell a story or read a book. First, take your bath, then play with bath toys. So first, wash your hair and all of those things that are difficult in the bath time. Then you get to play with your bath toys. Not first play with your bath toys for 30 minutes, then wash your hair, because then you aren't going to get the behavior done or the task done. So first, then is great. A clear instruction sequence is also a wonderful thing. So a clear instruction sequence is a 3-step sequence. If the child is engaging in a behavior that is going to send them to timeout or that's going to result in the loss of a token, you say, Ava, sit in your chair. Ava, sit in your chair or you will lose 1 token. Ava, because you did not sit in your chair, you will lose 1 token. Or Mark, write your name. Mark, write your name or you will receive 1 check. Mark, because you did not write your name, you will receive 1 check. You don't necessarily want to use a clear instruction sequence for hitting or aggression. That needs to be a very definitive as soon as it happens. You don't want to be like, if you hit me again, then you will get a check, then you will go to timeout. But if you see a child about to throw something, that might be a good time for a clear instruction sequence, or about to break a pencil. So if they're about to break the pencil and they're trying to get access to something or attention, you may say, do not break the pencil. If you break the pencil, you will go to timeout. Because you broke the pencil, you are going to timeout. Or do not throw the toy. If you throw the toy, then you will go to timeout. because you threw the toy, you will go to timeout. So that clear instruction sequence is a 3-part sequence, 1, 2, 3. Don't do it, because if you do it, here's the consequence. Because you did it, here's the consequence. So it's just that 1, 2, 3 part. Another great strategy is pre-teaching. And so before you enter the situation, here are our expectations. We are going into the grocery store. If you stay in the cart, or if you stay on the cart, at the end of each aisle, you will receive 1 token. When we leave, you can watch that many minutes of a video in the car for staying on the cart. So if you have 10 aisles, they can get up to 10 minutes of videos or 10 minutes of video games when they get home. Because that's how many aisles that you need to go down. And so for every aisle that they stay on the end of the cart or stay in the cart and following the rules, then they get 1 token. The more tokens they get, the more they earn at the end. So you're pre-teaching as you go into the store. What is the system? What is the plan? So let's say they want to get a tangible item at the grocery store. They want chips, or they want a candy bar, whatever it is that they're wanting. Then you can say, if you follow this rule, or if you earn this many tokens, then you will get to choose X number of items. So maybe 5 tokens per item. So if you've got 10 aisles, for every 5 tokens you earn, you can choose 1 thing. So if they earn all of their tokens, they can choose 2 items, a candy bar and a bag of chips, or a candy bar and a drink. That way they can earn more for the higher compliance that they have. But you've got to pre-teach it before you go in. That way it's fresh on their mind.